So me and my colleagues, we decided to just put a video, and I used my phone for the video. And during the whole night shift, there was a woman in labor that day. So the lady I was really pathetic of her because there was no light, and we didn't even see a BP monitoring check for the lady, and there's no fatal monitoring device. So what they were doing is a manual check for the pregnant woman, not knowing that the woman, the baby is on bridge. So I stayed due to my poor health condition. I couldn't stay all night long because the place was not conducive for me. So I went home around midnight, around to 3. I left. So I didn't know what conspired again, but I was in touch with my colleagues that were still there.
To 3 in the morning?
Yes.
Okay.
So I kept on calling them. I was asking them what's the condition of the lady. They said she has not bettered till 3, 4.
She has not given birth?
Yes, 3, 4, 6.
In the morning?
In the morning. Okay. That they've booked her cesarean section, a CS. And that the husband was complaining, crying that there's no money for the CS. That what they came here was the normal delivery. So I said, okay, no problem. So on Saturday evening, I called the last lady that left the hospital. I was still asking her the condition of the lady. She said she does not know that when she left, she was still in labor. So I said, okay, no problem. Let me reach out to the elder sister because I exchanged numbers with her. So I called her, but she was not picking. So before then, the video started going viral. I was having calls from the officials.
Even what officials of the hospital or your school?
No, or officials from the government.
From the government?
Yes.
Do you remember the name of anybody that called you? Okay, all right.
No.
Okay.
So, but the officials already reached out to me. One was saying I should put on the video.
Male or female?
Male.
Okay.
Then the other one sent money to reach out to the pregnant woman to take her off from the health center to Niger Foundation. That once I get to the place, I should let her know. So this was about after 10, 11 at night.
Okay, she sent you money and said you should move the patient from Uwani Health Centre to Niger Foundation. She sent you money. All right.
So
the person that sent you money is also a government official?
Yes.
Good.
So I got there. On getting to the place, it was said the woman was giving birth. So I called her. She called me a video call. She was seeing the whole thing. She was like, why am I taking a fake news around? I said I wasn't taking a fake news. I started showing her around. There's no lights. I also showed her the mosquito coil where they kept for the newborn baby because of the mosquitoes.
The mosquito coil was kept close to the newborn baby? Yes. Okay.
So she was like, okay, send me the remaining balance, take some, give the lady and send me the balance, which I did. I also gave her the one she gave to me.
Okay.
So I blocked her on my WhatsApp. She came on a normal message. She was saying that she's not giving me the money to make me pull down the video. That she was giving me the money for my hospitality, the time, the risk I took going back to the hospital, even when I was not on duty. So I said, okay, no problem. So I stopped talking to her. We didn't talk. Even the official that was calling me to put down the video, I didn't pick his calls anymore. So on a Monday, the school called to their attention that they are inviting... So
when they called you, the first official that called you to pull down the video, what reasons did he give you?
He didn't just say anything. He just said, pull down the video and text me on WhatsApp. He said, once you pull down the video, just text me on WhatsApp.
Okay.
I said, okay.
He sent you a message?
No, he called.
He called?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And I said, okay. So when he kept on calling, I didn't answer anymore.
Okay.
So on a Monday, the school called that we should come to the school, both the 3 of us and the other students last week.
Last week, okay. Oh, yeah.
So we got there. Admin was very angry about the whole thing. So she wanted to hear the side of my own story. So I told her everything that happened. But getting to the part of, I told her that the officials called for me to pull down the video. She got upset. She asked me, why didn't I pull down the video? She said that we must put down the video, that she has to take me to my house. She will do whatever it takes for me to put down the video. I told her that the phone, the TikTok is at home, that is not with me. She said we'll go to my house and bring it down, and that she's giving me an indefinite suspension. So she called to the admins to draft a letter to issue to the 3 of us. then that we're stopping the clinicals from the Uwani General Hospital. I said, okay. So we left. In hearing the thing started going viral and getting more viral and viral, people kept on calling. So the owner of the school that day called, because it's not in Nigeria, she called on a video call. She said that she wants to speak to me. So I was talking to her. She was saying that I want to bring down her school, that as the government is pressing them, they are pressing me, that I have to bring down the video first. Then she personally is also giving me indefinite suspension, and I should get lawyers, attorneys to speak to the bloggers to bring down the video.
Well, first of all, the name of the school wasn't mentioned in the video.
Yeah.
So I'm getting to hear about the school for the first time, Ezzy College of. So what you posted about was the light situation and the lack of water at Uwani Health General Center, right? That was what you posted about. You said, did you say anything about your school?
No, I never mentioned the school.
Did you expose the uniform?
I never mentioned the school. I was surprised when they even called concerning it. But her attention was that I was putting on her uniform and I was doing the video. Which on that video, I was on a jacket.
So you cardigan.
Cardigan. Okay. So you wouldn't even see the badge. Okay. But I think the other colleague of mine, her badge was showing, but you wouldn't even see the name. She was like the government official called, which I don't know. So the woman said I should go meet the bloggers. So I reached out to Chooks. That was the first guy that picked it up from my TikTok. I told Chooks that, please, I'm having issues because of this. Please, can you pull it down? Chooks was asking me that there are people who are waiting for me to respond and they've not heard from me. Is there any problem? I told Chooks that they said they're giving me indefinite suspension and we're off from our clinicals, and that's because of the video. Chooks now picked it up and asked me to do another video, and which I did. So that was it.
Okay, that was what has transpired between 28 and today. Exactly. All right, so let me get to Mr. Ibueme, who has also been actively involved in this case. At what point did you get involved in this case? And I understand that you spoke to the admin. Can we get to know who the admin of the school is and what your interactions with her was like?
Thank you very much, Favour. Thank you for this opportunity to also have this conversation here. So I had seen the video earlier in the week, I think on Monday or Sunday. That's the first video where she called, where she highlighted the poor state of Uwani General Hospital, and I commented. I think I commented on the blog that posted it. Then on waking up yesterday, I saw another video where she was crying in the video, saying that she was suspended because of her action. So I got angry, all right, and I reached out to the blog that posted that content. To send her contact if he has, her contact, because I don't know her. Yesterday was actually my first time of meeting her in person. So the guy wasn't responding at the time. I think maybe he wasn't online. So I went back to the video. I saw her username, TikTok video, and how they, have your username attached to your content, so people don't steal your content.
Watermarks.
Yes. I copied it. Like I just wrote it down, went on TikTok, searched with the username. And that's how I got her. I DM'd her, introduced myself, I commended her for her effort, for speaking up. I encouraged her that these are the kind of citizens we are looking for, all right? However, I'd like to speak to her and take this matter up if she so wishes. So I requested for her contact. She was quite responsive. She sent, and I called. I spent over 20 minutes on the phone talking. So as we were talking, she narrated everything she has said to me right now. And I said, you know what? Rather than wait for next week, because I know today is Friday, no office, a lot of offices are on holiday. Let's go that yesterday. I wanted to go to the school. Let's go and find out. Of course, I'm a journalist, and one of the things we are trained to do in this job is get the both sides of every story, get the facts of every story before you go ahead to do anything about it.
Absolutely.
So yes, I know I have the power, we have the capacity to do anything, to blow any story I want to blow, but we need to also hear from the other side.
Right.
So at that point, said, okay, give me an hour. Everybody dressed up and all of that, made some calls. Then I picked her up. We headed to Abu Favour, it will interest you to know that the location of this school, I personally won't let my child be there. I mean, the school has a very good structure and all that, no doubt about that. But the location of the school feels like it's a settlement. On our way, I have footages of all of these things. I saw cattle rearers and Fulani herders who are
around there.
Yes.
Okay.
It feels like a settlement for them. Cows are numbered.
So
over 500.
In the middle of
is inside the village.
Okay.
All right, very far from the express. So I got to the school, met the receptionist, who asked who we are looking for. I said, well, I am here to see the person in charge, the administrator. And she said, okay, are you on appointment? I said, no. Why do you want to say? I said, don't worry, it's personal. I just want to meet her and have a conversation with her. So she went up, called, came down again, not up to 2 minutes. The PA came down. The PA to Mrs. Ifeinwa Peace Okudo.
Ifeinwa Peace Okudo.
Yes.
She's the administrator of Ezzy College of Nursing.
Yes, Ezzy International College of Nursing Science.
Okay.
She came down, okay, she was hell bent on knowing who I was. I said, my name is Uchenna Ibuem. I think that's all you need to know. I'm a citizen of Nigeria. All right. You don't need to know where I'm from or where, or the organization that I represent before you. I mean, this is a public space. I need to speak with your madam. She said, okay, madam is in a meeting. You have to give her about 30 to 45 minutes, 1 hour, I said, okay, I don't have 30 minutes. I don't have 45 minutes. I also don't have 1 hour to spend. What can we do? She left. The letter came. I sent for her. She came back again after 15 minutes. She came back. I said, okay, this is the reason why I'm here. Your students are trending, and not for the very best of reasons. All right. I'd like to see your madam so that we can discuss it. Let me hear the school side. So it doesn't look as though the students are making these stories up. Let's be sure that this is the stand of the school, in this particular issue. So she went up, came down again. Remember the first time she said, give me 30, 45 minutes to 1 hour. She came down and said, my madam doesn't want to see you. All right? That you don't have an appointment with her. I said, okay, she can't see me because I don't have an appointment with her. Is it fine to have a contact? I said, okay, wait for me. Went around with this receptionist. They stood, spent like 5 minutes, put heads together, came out and gave me a number I thought was the woman's number. Upon, calling the number, I realized it was a fake number.
Okay.
So when we left the school, I'd already started making calls because I was angry. I had to tell her, you know what, before we even go further, let's find a way. You're a student of this school. I need this woman's number provided for me. So she called some people and they sent the woman's number. And I called her. We spent 3 minutes, 4 seconds on the phone. I told her, madam, I was in your school, blah, blah, blah. She said, yes, that she heard that I came, that she was having a meeting with her team, that she had requested for my phone number. I said, madam, to start with, I didn't write my number. All right, so, it's okay. Didn't they give you form to fill? I said they gave me form, but it was only my name and sign and signature. So there was no space where they said I should write my phone number. She said, okay, okay, for the matter that you're talking, right now, this is our, I said, okay, I asked, are you aware that your students are trending online? And they said that you suspended them indefinitely, Is this the true position of the school? She said, they were not sent there. I am quoting her now. Said, they were not sent there to go and do content. That they were sent for clinicals. That even the things that they went there to do have affected the school. That they had to, suspend them indefinitely. That if they want to do content, they should go elsewhere and do content. They are not the only ones that bad governance is affecting in Nigeria. I am quoting the woman right now. If I'm being called upon tomorrow, I can pull evidence to back up whatever claim that we make here today. All right. Towards the end of the call, I said, so madam, what's your stand on this? Because you had suspended these students indefinitely without a letter. Verbally, both you and the CEO, the owner of the school. All right. Without giving them a letter. I mean, you told the admin to draft a letter, and all of a sudden, the letter didn't come out because it was going to also implicate you. Now, you did it verbally. told the girl in front of her and other students that they are suspended indefinitely. So I also wanted to hear directly. Now you're speaking to me, you don't know who I am. And she still made the same statement. They've been suspended indefinitely. I said, okay, madam, so nothing can be done about this. She said nothing can be. So I said, madam, do I have your permission to go ahead and take this up or do whatever I want to? She said, go ahead and do anything you want to do. I said, thank you, ma. Thank you for your time. I ended the call. So I left off that matter. Favour, you see, we can't be telling young Nigerians to speak up. And when they speak up, we victimize them. We can't be encouraging Nigerians. Nobody's more Nigerian than each other, than one another.
The other person.
The same right you have is also the same right I have. The only difference is that you're in a place of authority. So if these people had spoken up, what I expected from the school was a commendation. Even if you feel that they didn't get it, they didn't go about it the right way, first of all, commend them, then tell them, okay, next time, do it this way, do it this way. The school was not mentioned. This school was not mentioned. In fact, there are people who are meant to get angry in all of these things. It's the Enugu State government. But guess what? The Enugu State government, have also tried to play cool with all of these things. Even though behind the scene, there have been conversations going on. I mean, we are the government house yesterday. There's been conversations going on. However, they've also tried to commend her for highlighting that and saying that they didn't even know that something like this, that hospital was in such state. And that whatever she has shown was even minute of the problem.
All right. Now let me ask her this question before I bring in Mr. Larry Oguego, because there was also that conversation as to the government. People are beginning to point to the government and all that, and there's need for conversations like this so that there will be clarity.
Yes,
and I'm glad that you went to the school. This was the response so far. You've also been engaging with some government officials and all of that, and so far they have not really been as hostile. So, but I wanted to ask you before I bring in Mr. Larry. I mean, Joy, on getting admission in the school. Did they give you any orientation as to how you should act or how issues should be reported, even when you go for your clinical postings and all of that? Is there a code of conduct that was given to you people as to how you should act both while in school and when you go for your clinicals?
No.
Is there anything
There's
like
no
that?
orientation given to us. They've never even orientated us. We are the only set that was not given orientation, which they always say.
So when you went to Uwani Secondary School, Uwani General Hospital as well, did they tell you, okay, these are boundaries you cannot cross?
No.
There's absolutely nothing like that.
that.
All right, got you, Mr. Larry. Let me come to you now. You're not new to this terrain. You're not new to something like this. Because I needed you to really understand, and the young lady in question is here. When you take a look at, or having listened to all of this, what do you make of this entire situation?
I think it's, first of all, interesting that the people who are complaining and crying foul are not the people who are supposed to be complaining. Honestly, I'm surprised with the way the Enugu State government went about it, in the sense that they didn't react like the typical Nigerian political leaders. I understand that the place now has electricity. In other words, rather than berate her and her friends or punish them, they decided to solve the problem. They acknowledged that there is a problem, and they are apparently solving the problems. And one of the things I would also suggest is that they look at other facilities to ensure that such embarrassing situations do not come up. So I wanted to start by saying the people who should ordinarily throw tantrums and complain about this are not complaining. I do not see how this action actually embarrassed the state government. I do not see it at all. That's how it embarrassed the school, rather. I do not see how it's the business of the school.
The school.
Honestly. And I don't want to sound legalistic about this, but the truth of the matter is that the students, the young people here, have a freedom of expression. If you want to look at it constitutionally, they didn't do anything wrong. I saw the video. and there was nothing embarrassing or insulting. They just stated the facts.
The facts.
And they were not just stating the facts, they were showing us the facts, that the place is dark. I saw the video, the place was dark. And up to now, nobody has disputed the content as to whether it's factual or not. So nobody said this is false information, because everybody knows that the information is valid. So I don't understand where the school is coming from. Honestly, one of the things I think we'll have to do after now is to get both the leadership and the proprietors of the school to understand that they are the people actually embarrassing their institution. Because let me explain my position. It's very simple.
Right.
Okay, the video has gone viral. Enugu State has managed it well. Fix the facility, possibly fix other health facilities. That is how democracy works. When you see something that is not working, you say so, because they can't be everywhere. Let us admit that these are actually lapses in governance. But the truth is that the way Nigeria works, somebody may have been even given the resources to fix that place, and the person will just be sitting around or driving a new car with the money. So somebody has to say, this hospital has not been fixed, and that's what she did. And then the state government rose up to the occasion and started fixing that one. Like I said, I hope they'll fix the others. And then a school that has no business, they are not the owners of the hospital, their name wasn't mentioned, they don't have any direct contact with the facility. I really do not understand the basis for suspending them. But I also want to give the school some free advice. You have a contract to train them. I'm sure they paid to be trained. You didn't give them any document stating that they don't have freedom of speech anymore. No, sorry, let me also point out something.
Right.
You know, some of us have been asking, were you given orientation? For instance, were you informed that you cannot talk when you see something? But there are things you cannot do. There are agreements that are not valid in Nigeria. You cannot make a Nigerian sign away a basic right. If you give me an orientation, and the orientation says, as a higher institution, that I cannot talk when I see something that is validly wrong, that orientation, that part of, even if I sign it, it is null and void ab initio. Why? Because it's against the constitution that gives me the right and the power to express myself legitimately, except I'm expressing myself in a mischievous manner. For instance, I'm using my expression to hurt another person, to spread panic, create insecurity and all of that. In fact, when you invited me for this conversation, the first thing I checked was, what are the derogations from this freedom of expression? That's what are the circumstances under which you shouldn't use it. Incidentally, she used it in a way that is commendable. What she did is in line with the rights and duties of a citizen. We have a schedule, part of the Nigerian Constitution, that is duties of a citizen. One of the things you do is to engage in activities that will promote good governance, to actually say and do things that will improve our lot and the environment. And that's exactly what they did. Having done this, let me just explain how it works. Now that they did this, there is power there. The patients are happier. The nurses are happier. The school that suspended that, the other colleagues that may go there later will be happier and more comfortable. So she actually did the state and all of us a service by pointing out that there are lapses in this institution. And I keep going back to the fact that Enugu state government took it well. Remember, I didn't want to digress and get into this, but remember that it was in this studio that we had conversations about the water crisis. And the Enugu state government actually rose up to the occasion and addressed that crisis.
You know, what I wanted to get something straight. I mean, about the situation of the school, I think after the video went viral, the next day they brought back the electricity was restored on a Monday. It was restored, and then water was also. Yes. But I understand there are also other challenges, right, with the facility, which we'll still get into. I'm not sure they will be able to fix that between the time she made the video and now. But let's just say that the basics, which is water and electricity, were restored on that day. So I don't know about the consistency. We probably would have to keep up to understand or to know how consistent the light and the water supply are. But my point is, when she made the video, she said some people called her and told her AIDS, even though she does not remember the name, and told her to take down the video. And I'm asking why.
Well, I cannot speak for those people because I'm not the person who made the call, but we can speculate. You know, for me, it doesn't make sense.
Do you understand?
It doesn't make sense. But you see, we're in a country where
people that work for the government can't be overzealous.
That's exactly what I wanted to explain.
Yeah.
People jostle for relevance in our political space. So somebody wanted to have the bragging right of saying, I'm the person who made her pull it down.
Yeah.
I'm the person who saved us the embarrassment. That's basically what was likely to be the situation. But let me also state clearly that they didn't go about it the right way. For an intelligent person, for an articulate person, honestly speaking, it wouldn't have been difficult to get her to pull it down. I mean, I've seen her. She's a nice young woman. All you had to do was to call her, treat her nicely, acknowledge her concerns, tell her that we appreciate the fact that you gave us that information. If you go back there and there's light, there is water. Having solved this problem, please, can we make progress? We promise you we'll fix the rest of the problems. Can you take it? And she would have done that without any inducement. But I also thank God that there are young people who have the moral strength not only to resist intimidation, but also resist inducement. Now, that is very important. In this economy, most young people would have been very quick to ask, in fact, bargain about the pulling down. So if you bring a little more money, I'll not only pull it down, write an apology. I remember other cases where people have accused others and then later apologized. So, I mean, it's a Nigerian phenomenon. You can actually, if you treat me nicely, I can apologize too. But she realized that she didn't do anything wrong. So the overzealous political players who wanted to gain political mileage out of this apparently wanted to not only threaten or induce her to take it down, but to say later, oh, we made it happen. Like, yes, like we are Mr. Fix-It for this administration. So if there's a problem, you can rely on us. But the truth is that I would want to advise the governor that such persons are dangerous. People who go around doing what they were not actually, yes, they were not engaged to do. Because when they try to do such things and there's a backlash, the governor and the administration takes the backlash, not just the person. So I think we need to get to that point where the people should not be so overzealous as to overreach themselves in a very simple situation. As for the school, I think we still need to go back to the fact that they are the people now embarrassing their institution. Because if they didn't suspend them, nobody would have even known the school that they came from.
True.
That's the truth.
True.
And nobody will be discussing whether they're in the backsides of nowhere or whether some Fulani herdsmen are settled near them and all of that. So sometimes when you have certain situations, rather than escalate it, especially when there is no need, just resolve it and go home. And even at this time, I think this is the tip of the iceberg. The truth of the matter is that I would advise anybody who is listening to us now who has access to the administrator and the owner of the school to do the needful. If you think that she did something wrong, and I mean, if you think so, in any case, even if you think so, you are wrong. But you can say, okay, we made a mistake. We didn't create any boundaries for them. So you can now learn from the experience. It's a learning experience for the school. So
what if they are under pressure? Because according to what she said they were, as the government is pressing them, they're also I don't understand what they mean by that.
Obviously, the overzealous political players who reached out to her to put her under pressure may have reached out to school to use the school to get her to pull it down. That is a plausible explanation. However, they should have been smart enough to explain to these influence peddlers that they are not in a position to compare her. I mean, if I was in the position of the administrator, I would have told the person, honestly, if that happened, that I'm not in a position to influence her. However, I will try to persuade her to pull it down. And the truth is that where they lost it, whoever was putting her under pressure, where they lost it was that they didn't actually watch the video. I sensed her frustration when I watched the video. Before I even met her here, I sensed the frustration. She wanted to solve a problem. I mean, this is Nigeria. Most of us have been in her position where we feel very upset about a situation. What they would have done would have been to engage her. Oh, you wanted to solve a problem. You have succeeded. Congratulations. We are working on it. You're a brilliant young woman. You've told us, we have done something about it. Can you now pull it down since you have? Honestly, she would have most likely taken it down. But you see, because a lot of our politicians see themselves as Mr. Fix-It or Madam Fix-It, that they have a lot of powers, people believe in intimidation where it doesn't work. As a matter of fact, I can tell you for free that if the school doesn't begin to rethink the steps they have taken, it's going to cause far more damage than they anticipated. And guess what? Let me also give them free advice. The truth is that she can go to another school and complete this program, but they may never recover from the damage. I can tell you. I mean, if you're managing an institution, it may be very easy to start a battle. You may be very easy to that, but there are businesses that have been killed by one scandal, just one, and they never recover. I mean, if you suspend students arbitrarily for no plausible reason, after they have paid you money and you have a contract to train them, apart from the fact that you're attracting legal consequences, you are telling your potential students that they are not safe in your school. Today is because I posted a video. Tomorrow it could be because I said I don't like where your school is located. The next day it could be because I said I don't like the face of the president. I mean, we all know about the Na Your Mama song and all of that. Thank God it ended in praise, according to our former governor. It ended well. But the point I'm making is a place where things are done arbitrarily. You don't know what the boundaries are. You can be suspended indefinitely for any reason. And the suspension is indefinite. It's not documented. So that in itself means that she's not suspended. If you want to look at it properly. As we speak now, she's not suspended. What I mean, she can go back to school and expect to continue her activities until somebody informs her appropriately. When they gave her admission, they gave her a letter of admission. They didn't admit her verbally. So if you want her to stop coming to school for training or to stop her activities elsewhere, you have to tell her in writing. And you have to state the why. And that's why it has to meet the proper conditions for suspending her.
I was going to ask you that.
And when you want to explain that proper condition, you should make reference to documents that will back up your basis for suspending her. So that's why there is no letter. If you write a letter, you cannot place something on nothing. So what are you going to say that she did? That she complained about an institution that should have been better? In fact, is that particular proprietor or whatever she is, that is actually embarrassing the state government, because they're escalating this matter that should have been forgotten by now.
I think you said the name is Mrs. Okudo. Mrs. Ifeanyi Okudo. She's the administrator of Ezzy College, International College of Nursing Science. Anyway, this is also, I'm still going to get across, but this is also an open invitation to her that would like to hear the side of the story, the school's side of the story. We see the statement that she put out on the official Facebook page. That was when people even knew that these girls are students of Ezzy College of Nursing Sciences, right? But the bigger picture, Mr. Larry, for me is, I mean, taking a look at, because this is Uwani General Hospital that we're talking about here. And the state of that hospital, when she made that video, is absolutely nothing to write home about. And people have also been coming forward to share their experiences and all that. And Uwani is on the Enugu South local government area. And I also know that in terms of budget allocation, the health sector, particularly in Enugu State, gets quite a lot of allocation and all that. So how do you, because it's almost as if, is there anything you're hiding? Are you giving monies and these monies are not being properly utilized, right, for that hospital to be in that state? And it's just not about light. It's not just about lack of water. She said they didn't have a BP monitor. Some basic things that should be in a hospital, she said, were not there. So how do we, because that's the bigger picture for me. This whole thing might end, but if we do not start talking about how to upgrade our healthcare systems, that's a problem. Despite or in spite, monies being budgeted for the health sector, how do you think the government can really begin to ensure that monies that they pump into these government institutions are being utilized?
Yeah, brilliant question. I must start by saying that the reason we are sitting here having this conversation is because there is no proper feedback channel that works with government. So you have to develop your own method of giving feedback. Somebody suggested to them, if somebody can make a video and complain, maybe they will do something.
Right.
In fact, that suggestion worked. They made a video. Somebody's doing something finally. Now, but let me say...
security man.
Yeah, the security man. And I hope that... Sorry, I'm saying this, and I say it with all sense of responsibility. Nobody should go and start pursuing the security man, no. Because that is the one I won't even like. Because now that we have said it, as we speak now, somebody will be looking for the security man. Say, which security man said this? You see, I know because I'm a Nigerian. See, our politician, whoever is listening to us, in the health, they don't look for the security man. Just to understand that we have a more fundamental situation here.
Right.
This is the point where the state government, not only Enugu, but every other state government, should just learn practical governance and leadership lessons. How? Give us a platform to give you real-time legitimate feedback. Simple. You asked me, so what could be done to... The best way to do this is not only about health, about schools. The other day I was looking at my WhatsApp and I saw a video posted that was allegedly a smart school with water all over the classroom and students camping for safety. And I was asking myself, what is this? But assuming you have a feedback mechanism that is domiciled in the office of the governor, and for me, this is a free consultancy. It's a recommendation that sounds little, but it's very big. Have a feedback team that will sit down and monitor comments from people real time. So if you see something and you want to say something, you say it straight to the people who can do something about it. She would have probably sent this complaint to those people, knowing that if I send it, they will do something about it. But there is no feedback mechanism that's available to Nigerians. In fact, we are in a quandary. We are between the rock and the hard place, the devil and the deep blue sea. Because if you complain on social media, they'll start pursuing you and say you are doing, which is what's happening to her. But if you want to complain to them, they won't give you access. In fact, when he went to see the administrator, small administrator of a school, they refused to give him access. So imagine if you want to go and see commissioner or governor, what will happen to you? You may not even survive the attempt to see the person there. So I think we need to get to that point where we establish feedback mechanisms that work, not a place you send a message and nobody will attend to it. I mean, if the governor employs smart men and women, because initially the complaints will come in torrents, maybe in their thousands. They should sit down and sort them out. Attend to some of them that may be minor, and then make sure that the governor gets to see the ones that are important. That will solve.
It's even a bit. I mean, that's cumbersome. I don't know. I mean, in Enugu State, for instance, we have 17 local government areas, and these 17 local governments, they have local government chairmen. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, why do you have to bombard?
Without due respect, Favour, we don't want to.
When you have local government chairmen, where you can, easily give this feedback too.
Ideally, you're making sense. We have not only local government chairmen, we have commissioners. But we need to ask ourselves, how are these people appointed commissioners? How do people emerge as local government chairmen? The buck stops on the table of the governor. I know how Nigeria works. So there is no, if I'm the governor, the feedback mechanism should come to me. So if there's a local government chairman that has a problem, I will ask him, bros, what's happening in your local government? Because there are some of these people, if you send the mail to them, they will not read it till their tenure ends.
They don't even
unless there is a problem. Government. Many of them don't reside there and they hardly go there. They just go there at the end of the month to probably share the money or whatever and pay salary. So the point I'm making is the governor wants Enugu to be an exceptional state. Now, if you have such tall ambitions, you have to do the work. And for me, one of the things the governor must do, for me, it's not optional if you really want to. If you want to build a successful space, you have to work with the people. I said it when all of this issue of division of GDP and all of that was up. I said, look, if you want to make Enugu prosperous, you have to say your vision to the people. Let them become your partners in progress, so that they can now help you succeed. So if we want to stop this kind of backlash, this kind of embarrassment, let us establish and publicize a place, email, social media, wherever we can tell, Oga, we saw this problem. Can you guys look into it?
I would like to believe that the governor, he has essays on media, but instead of taking this feedback. I mean, he has essays on so many of them. I see their posts and all that. But maybe instead of taking some of these feedbacks, they decide to engage in things that they were not sent to do, like putting a call across to ask her to pull down the video. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, that's why you're employed. You are apart from capturing content, you're also meant to monitor reactions of people towards the government that you serve online, and you give feedback. But some of them like to overstep boundaries. You like to do things that you were not sent to do.
Favour,
I don't know if it's
we're in
what I mean. And that's why
we
saying
need to talk about this. We're in Nigeria. The commissioner and the people in health, the people in the health ministry do not want the governor to know that mess is there.
So how about the governor,
that's why I say
scheduled visits, right?
So these are the things I was talking about.
There's a commissioner for health, because I mean, I wouldn't want to believe that the budgets meant for the health sector don't get to them, even if not 100%.
First of all, how do you make budgets?
Do you understand?
The
problems of the institutions that the budget should.
You make budget based on the problems on ground.
The bottom-up budgeting.
It's alarming, and like I said, wonderful suggestion, the government setting up a feedback channel and all of that. That renders the local government chairman redundant. Like, what are you doing?
Redundant in terms of feedback. They can do other things. But feedback, they won't manage feedback. Sorry, let me surprise you. Do you know the SA you're talking about? Maybe SA giving in managing situations properly. Do you know that somebody will tell somebody to make sure that certain information doesn't get to Oga? This is how Nigeria works. But that's why we speculate and talk. Let us tell ourselves the truth. People suppress information because they don't want to look bad. Sometimes even when things are wrong, they don't want to tell the governor because the governor may be angry and say, so why didn't that person fix it?
Because that's the problem. This case that has been going on, just yesterday we also heard that the person in charge of that place and some other person, some management staff of the hospital were fired.
Okay.
All right? Because, so what this meant was the governor probably didn't know about it.
Yes.
About it.
Some people who should know didn't know.
By the time the SPA visited, some persons had to leave. The governor is aware of these issues. All right? The only problem is there are channels, there are people who should directly supervise these things.
Okay.
They're not also doing their job.
Let's get a few reactions. Let's get a few calls from the audience before we call it a day, because I mean that's the bigger picture for me, right? If we are to take a tour around the maybe existing primary healthcare centers that we have, or the state-owned hospitals that we have, what will be the situation of those facilities? These are the bigger questions, right? Exactly. These are the bigger issues. But I'd like to get to the talk lines and once again state that Mrs. Joy Musisifenwa Okudo, Peace Okudo, the floor is open for us to hear your own side of the story. You have been accused of verbally suspending Miss Joy Ezugu indefinitely for the video she made that went viral. Well, we would like to, there are about 3 of them, right? So we would like to understand or hear from the school as well. 0916 0004945 and 0916 0005945.